Okay, so welcome back to some more Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game. And yes, before you mention it, I do realize that this is not a perfectly straight line. It has two corners. Well, more than two, but a part of the actual track, it has two corners in it, which it shouldn't. It's supposed to be the 2018 Red Bull Straight Rhythm, but the game is not built for that. The game is built to make Supercross tracks, not straight rhythms. So we did what we could. We had to choose the large outdoor stadium and have 3 lanes with 2 corners. 2 corners essentially, not counting everything to get back around. And this took me a long time. I actually almost didn't do it. I kind of got the idea that it would be kind of fun, and then I started doing it and realizing that there's no way in heck that you're ever going to be able to fit the entire thing down one straightaway. It was just going to be totally impossible. You had to have a couple corners in there, and that bugged me. And then, I was trying, and I'd go and test it, and it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. It didn't have a good flow to it, and I don't know. I just was like, you know what, this isn't going to work. I'm going to can the idea. And then I decided to try one more time, and I knew I had to have the corners in there the second time around, so I kind of staggered the track to the top side, I suppose. The first rhythm lane is actually a bit higher than it was originally, so the second lane I think is actually probably the longer of the 2 rhythm lanes, and then the final one. And the third rhythm lane was actually the easiest because there wasn't too much to it. Now I think I have everything in there, and yes, there will be gameplay at the end. You probably have skipped over to the gameplay already. I realize that's the best part, and you kind of want to see how it works. And in my opinion, I think it works really good. Now, yeah, if you're going to do a race here, you could huck some really cheesy lines, not the way that it was meant to be played, because it's hard to put, it's really hard to put a wall in. And I kind of left right here actually specifically, this is the 10-foot jump. This is the 10-foot jump, but I actually go to the 10-foot long jump for the wall here because it just works quite a bit better than the regular 10-foot jump. And I don't know, I really would have liked to have put these pretty much everywhere they were on the straight rhythm, but it just didn't really work out. They take up a bunch of space. They take up almost twice as much space as the regular 10-foot jump. So I actually only have that one in here, but I kind of, this is part of the reason why I wanted to leave this in here, because I wanted to show you that if I could have, I would have much preferred to use the 10-foot long jump instead of the regular 10-foot jump. And then basically the track was already done here. The only thing I didn't do was I didn't have it connecting back to the start straight, which I show you a little bit of it because I wasn't really 100% sure how I wanted to do it, but that was the easiest part about building this. So I was kind of going back in and tweaking a few things and adjusting, because I bet I rode 10 or 15 laps here. Well, not laps, but I rode like on the straight sections 10 or 15 different times trying to get it down good. And while it's not perfect, and there's quite a bit of throttle control, because like I was saying, you can huck some really cheesy lines. I think I do like 3 or 4 laps for you at the end of the video, and they're laps by me, and since I built it, I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew how I wanted to go about doing the track. So if you choose to download this track, which it's on PS4 by the way, if you're curious, it'll be different for you. You'll have to kind of get used to it. And one of the hardest parts was actually the very beginning, getting the over under to work correctly, because what I wanted for the landing did not work at all. You just didn't have enough room. And so yeah, you should go to the top and go from a dead stop, but what I did is I kind of have a rolling start, because it's sometimes a bit hard to jump over it otherwise. So I think every lap that I come around, it's, whatever. And you're basically pretending, because the start straight is still the start straight. Now, interestingly enough, Supercross the Game 2, I hear is going to have the raised platform start. So we'll be able to do quite a few different things with that game. And I'm really excited about it, because that opens up quite a few possibilities. So yeah, kind of showing you the start here. I don't really know why I threw this in there, but I thought it was kind of interesting in how we were deciding how to do it. What I wanted to do was have it line up perfectly with the other one, but it just didn't really work out like that. It's a little bit offset, and it really doesn't matter. I thought about putting a few jumps or maybe some whoops or something, just to give you something to do while you're riding back. I wanted to keep it as authentic as possible, so we just kind of made it one really long straightaway here. So we're going to cut into the gameplay in just a tiny little bit, like right here. And we're going to start at the very top. So see, I kind of had a rolling start. Now, they're not all perfect runs, and not everything is, I mean, obviously it's not to scale, and the jumps and everything that we had at our disposal weren't perfect, but I think it worked out really good. It's when I first built it, everything was too small. Everything was way too close together, and then when I realized that there's no way this is going to fit on one straight, I just decided to say, hey, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna space things out and try to give it a bit of a better flow, but still kind of stay true to what it should have been in real life. And yeah, I know this triple's kind of ginormous to what it should be, but if I didn't make it that big, it didn't feel any bigger than some of the other triples, and so yeah, and I think it works pretty good. I mean, I'm basically going about it how they did. I mean, there was a few different timings and everything, but this was a pretty typical line rhythm that people were taking through it. And I don't know exactly how many whoops were at the end here, but that felt about right. I didn't sit there and count them or anything, and the finish line is a bit... It's a bit on the long side probably, but it's a video game, so I thought it was kind of cool to have a big finish line double and then the start straight and we go around again. I think we do like 3 or 4 laps here, and pretty much everything is the same. Now, I will kind of point out somewhere in here, I actually think you can triple off of this over the step off part. So, I mean, that's a cheesy line. You can double and then huck this instead of using it as a wall. And I think you can triple out to here, and then that would change this section. You can almost quad it, and then you'd have like a triple here. And this section gets kind of weird. It just doesn't really work. Now, I do believe there's probably some players out there that could... I guess it would be like triple onto the middle table there. I can't do it, but I bet it's a thing. You can double over this, and then you would have a double here, a double instead of a triple there, and then it's like a double here into a single into the corner. That is one of the lines that you can change, and here there's not really too much of a difference. Now, one thing you could try to do, I couldn't do it, I only tried once, is jump triple over both these tables and then double over the wall and then hit the whoops. Like, that is a line that you could try to hit, and if you could hit it just right, it would be a bunch faster. But the point is it's not really a track that I would want. I mean, you're not really racing your buddies, because this section here just kind of ruins it, because it's not like it's so much part of the track. It's just the way it is. The only thing you could do is get, you know, if you had, let's say you had 3 friends. Say you had 3 or 4, let's say 4 friends. I like an even number. Let's say you had 4 friends. You could get all 4 guys to... Well, maybe, no, it's not 4. We need to go off straight rhythm. You could get one of your buddies. I don't know why I was saying that. I was thinking of a race, and then I was thinking, wait, this is the straight rhythm. There should only be 2 guys on it. You could get one of your buddies and just line up on the top of the over-under, and then just go about it and see who has the faster time and whatnot, without trying to hit the really cheesy big lines, because I'm sure there's some really cheesy big lines in here, but the point of it is to try and go about it the realistic way. You know what I mean? And so I think that'd be kind of cool. I'd be curious to see, maybe if we live stream sometime, because I know I do a lot of Does Our Track Suck lately. Maybe if we live stream sometime, I will pull this track out and just one person, only like one person in the lobby, and then start it. If more people join, we'll have to keep restarting, because I know people, it'd be fun to do, but I mean, we only want one person. And then, because it's not off the start wouldn't be where the race starts. It would be at the top of the over-under. So I think it'd be kind of cool. We might have to try it. If you guys try it, let me know what you think of it. I don't know. I think it has a pretty decent flow if you practice it a couple times. And you'd also have to, I mean, you could basically copy the same rhythms that I'm doing, but if you don't want to do that, go back to the straight rhythm, because I think it's published here on YouTube somewhere, and you can see what they were doing in real life and then try to replicate that. I mean, you can go for the big lines too, but I'd be more curious to see what you think of it as a somewhat of a replica. Yeah, the turns suck. I know, the turns really do suck, but, you know, what are you going to do? There's not many choices. This stadium would have had to have literally been 3 times as long, because we basically went back and forth. Actually, maybe a bit longer, because we went diagonally, because that is just what seemed to to work better. And since we did that, we came up a bit short there. I will mention that if you do ruin a couple sections and come up short or case or whatever, you can kind of fix yourself. It's not too bad. Here, if you miss this double, it's pretty difficult to get the triple if you completely miss it, but yeah, it is possible. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you try it, let me know what you think in the comments as well. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.